All right, if you want to read this particular article, you can go to justinstellman.com/A9. How to fast for 52 days. I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this article from alternative health doctors and naturopathic physicians, but I don't really care. The focus of this article is for people who are relatively cleaned out, meaning they have done some intestinal cleanses, colonics, or coffee enemas in the past, and eat a cleaner diet than the average American. This article is not for the people who are used to doing really wacky things like upside-down enemas or 100-day green juice fasts. It's also not targeted towards people who eat junk food or people who are sick and actually might need to do an extended water fast. It's for people who are relatively healthy and clean, but who haven't really done a fast yet. I have to say for legal purposes that I'm not a medical doctor, and please consult your doctor before starting anything like what I'm about to talk about. When people say, I'm going to do a green juice fast today, it's not really clear what they're doing. They mean to say they're fasting from everything else in their current diet except for green juice. Now, I'm not a good faster. I do have good blood sugar levels, and I have the ability to go long periods of time rather easily without consuming food. My issue really is weight loss. If I skip a meal or a workout, I can lose up to 5 pounds without even trying. I know you women wish you had my problem, but you really don't. If I wanted to be thin and had this problem, then it would be great. But generally, being too skinny as a guy is not something to aspire to. It's the same problem you have, but just in reverse. So what I'm going to propose is a sort of hybrid approach to a traditional fast. Traditionally, people would fast for 3 or more days on water or green juice. If you're really ambitious, you could do a fast for 7 days or even 90 days. But personally, that's not my cup of tea. I'd rather take the slow and steady approach. I figure maintaining health is much easier than fixing it or having to do something radical like a 30-day fast. That has never really appealed to me. If you keep your diet clean and healthy, you shouldn't need to do radical fasts like that. I'd rather make sure I'm detoxifying and cleansing myself daily than eating copious amounts of junk food only to force myself into doing a 21-day fast later on. Or if I got really sick. One of the reasons people get hungry is their body has a lack of adequate minerals in reserve. If you flood your body with phytonutrients and minerals during a fast, this can really help you get through it. So my plan at this point is to avoid solid and blended foods every Sunday. I will do powders of all kinds, which I'll share below. I'll fast from green smoothies and even blended soups. I'll obviously fast from any solid food, cooked or raw. Until I get better at it, I will allow myself to have one, quote, meal of the day, which is a blended coffee drink that has raw fats in it. As I get better at fasting, I'll mostly end up letting that go as well. So, how to fast for 52 days. My goal is to do this fast every Sunday forever. Imagine doing a regular fast for the rest of your life. It's easy because it only lasts for about 1 full day. If you count the second night's sleep, it actually amounts to about 32 hours in total. And if you do this every week for 1 full year, you would have fasted for 52 days. That means in 1 calendar year, you would have not eaten food for almost 2 full months. I don't know about you, but I couldn't fast for 52 days in a row, but I can do it 1 day per week. And if you keep going with the numbers for 20 years, you would have fasted for a total of 1,040 days or 34.2 months. That's about 2.8 years of not eating any food. If you tried to do that all at once, you'd be dead or the world's most successful breatharian. Imagine how many pounds of food you would have forced your body to deal with. The average American eats about 3 to 5 pounds of food per day. So we'll split the difference and call it 4. By doing a fast like this for just the next 20 years, you're saving your body from having to digest roughly 4,160 pounds of food. Can you imagine how much healthier you'd be? So with any goal, it's better to break it down and accomplish it in bite-sized chunks. The same goes for the general tidiness of your home. If you do 5 or 10 minutes of cleaning every single day, you'll never have to spend a whole Saturday when you'd rather be having fun cleaning your home. Better to do small chunks every single day than by doing it all at once. The other benefit is that by doing things in small chunks like that, is that it creates discipline. And discipline immediately creates order out of chaos. Discipline allows you to have an anchor point that's buried deep in your subconscious foundation for success. How I felt. I generally felt pretty good. This was the second week I've done this type of fast, and to be honest, I was really looking forward to Sunday so I can give my body a break from eating food. It's nice because you don't have to think about food at all. All you have to think about is what you're going to drink and what you can pre-prepare the night before. No running to the grocery store to buy food. It's actually quite a relief. And during the late afternoon, I was looking at all the food I could have consumed and kind of wish I could have eaten it. My blood sugar felt great all day, even though I had to urinate all day long because I was drinking so many liquids. So what kept me from eating? When I would look at food during the day and had a craving, I reminded myself about why I was doing the fast in the first place. I'm doing it to become a stronger version of myself. I'm doing it to create mastery. I'm doing it to avoid disease and live longer for Kate and people that love me. I'm doing it to improve my digestion. I drank lots of bone broth, colostrum, and took enzyme supplements. I'm doing it to become somebody different. As I looked at something that I wanted to eat today, I remembered this quote. If you want what everybody else has, just keep doing what everybody else is doing. But if you want something different for yourself, then you must radically do something different every single day. There was a shift in my consciousness at the moment I pondered whether or not I should eat something. I realized that I'm different than everybody else. It wasn't an arrogant thought, but it was just more of a reminder. It was almost like if you drove a car that required premium gasoline and you went to fill it with regular gas instead. And as you were going to put the regular gas in, you remembered that you have a premium car that required higher end gas to keep it going at peak performance. It was kind of like that when I looked at food today. It's almost like I thought, oh yeah, of course you're not eating today like everybody else would. You're doing something most people wouldn't consider. And thinking like that was profound to me. And when I realized I'm going for greatness, the thought came into my head that if I'm going for greatness, I myself must be great. Otherwise, why would I go for greatness unless I subconsciously believed I was great? I was worth it, and my subconscious mind seemed to know it. Food is an incredibly spiritual tool that can condition us either for greatness and emotional mastery or a life of fear and disease. I made sure to avoid strenuous exercise today other than a 30-minute walk with Kate and Maggie. I did do about 25 minutes on the rebounder, which I do daily, but that was about it other than some light yoga and stretching. I also did roughly 20 minutes of Qigong, but that isn't that strenuous, so I don't even consider that to be exercise. All in all, I felt pretty good, which was surprising to me because I generally like to snack a lot. You would think that being into natural health and alternative medicine since 2003, I would have done a fast by now. I've studied such diets as the macrobiotic diet, the raw food vegan diet, the Ayurvedic diet, the paleo diet, the blood type diet, the primal diet, which is eating raw animal products, the ketogenic diet, the food combination diet, and even the chronobiotic nutrition way of eating, which is eating foods on time. I've been very much interested in all facets of eating and how nutrition actually helps us with personal mastery. Oftentimes, people mistakenly think that diet is all about caloric intake. If you eat a certain amount of calories while burning more than you consume, you will lose weight and you will be able to build muscle. But fasting is more of a personal development or spiritual pursuit. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. It brings up lots of emotions and weird attachments to things you never even knew existed. So here's a rundown of what I did and what I consumed on this, quote, fast. What liquids I consumed. A tablespoon of urine with 30 ounces of water. That was first thing in the morning. My coffee drink, which made about 16 ounces of liquid. The coffee drink consists of organic coffee, water, ghee, grass-fed butter, coconut oil, coconut butter, cacao butter, gelatin, raw honey, coconut nectar, maple syrup, blackstrap molasses, Celtic sea salt, monk fruit, stevia, cinnamon, cacao powder, chaga mushroom, colostrum, almond milk, and coconut water. Sounds like a lot, but it's pretty simple to make. The other thing I consumed was green water, about 64 ounces. That's water with a tablespoon of spirulina, Organifi green juice, MSM powder, vitamin C powder, barley grass powder, the juice of 1 lemon, apple cider vinegar, and some sea salt. I also consumed almond and pumpkin seed milk with a splash of organic vanilla, some monk fruit, green leaf stevia, sea salt, and maple syrup. I also consume Rejuvelac probiotic, about 1 ounce, as well as some lipospheric vitamin C, coconut water, fresh green vegetable juice, about 40 ounces, which consisted of carrot, apple, celery, lemon, cucumber, ginger, parsley, romaine lettuce. And I also consumed about 8 ounces of bone broth, about 18 ounces of kombucha, a couple ounces of coconut water kefir, liquid light mineral supplement, tea, One World Whey protein powder, some tinctures, along with Crystal Energy, about 10 drops, pine pollen, elk velvet, liquid iodine, liquid vitamin B12, host defense mushroom, multiple digestive enzymes throughout the day. And here's a list of the powders I consumed today. Cacao powder, stevia, Organifi, monk fruit, barley grass, spirulina, MSM, Celtic sea salt, One World Whey, colostrum, vitamin C powder, cinnamon, chaga powder, and gelatin. Here's a list of the fats that I consumed: ghee, raw butter, coconut oil, sunflower lecithin, coconut butter, cashew butter. And these fats were primarily in my coffee drink, which I had as my sort of meal in the middle of the day as a way to have something a little bit heavier during my fast. So here's a list of all the liquids I consumed: almond milk, coconut water kefir, kombucha, bone broth, green vegetable juice, green water, mushroom tea, and tinctures. Emotional state. There's a weird connection humans have to food. We can't live without it, yet we don't want to be addicted to it. Food somehow forces us into a relationship with it like a taskmaster, because you can't break up with food. I found during the day I had a strong desire to keep consuming liquids so that I would feel full. I figured as long as I could keep myself full, I would never feel hungry. Once you're hungry, it's almost impossible to stop feeling hunger. No amount of water will fix that situation. I found it interesting that I wanted to avoid the feelings of hunger for some reason. There's something unsettling about that feeling. Maybe it's some sort of connection to a past that was filled with uncertainty and scarcity. I don't know what it was. All I knew was that I kept wanting to drink new and different drinks, so I never felt any hunger pains. I was able to do that. Even as I write now, it's 10:42 p.m. I'm not really hungry. I know that if I were to continue fasting like people will do, it eventually forces you to deal head on with our relationship with food and ultimately our biggest fears. Food really is a deep spiritual teacher. I felt like I constantly wanted to avoid feelings of hunger all day today. It was weird. I know that food itself covers up spiritual and emotional issues we know we should deal with. The more toxic and heavy the food is, the more issues it covers up. It's like a drug. As you continue to eat heavy food, you are able to continue committing sins against your own conscience because you know the food is just going to cover it up. But when you strip away all the food, it at least brings the awareness of what food is doing. And when you go deeper into a fast, you actually have to deal with what those issues really are. Since this fast is only 1 day long, I don't feel it'll ever get to a level that deep. I'm kind of scared to go that deep, actually. And being completely honest here, I think one of the main things I'd be afraid of losing weight and getting really skinny. The perception I have of myself is something I'm always working on, but obviously I haven't arrived yet because when I'm completely honest, I'm scared of losing weight. That shows me I have a distorted belief of who I really am. Things to ponder and keep working on. The other thing that comes up is maybe I'm scared to get to the next level of health. Maybe subconsciously I like to have nagging injuries and a little bit of poor digestion every now and then. Maybe I'd feel stripped of my identity if I completely healed everything. Isn't that a weird thing? A while back I was reading a book where the doctor said, "What would you be if you currently had no health conditions? How would you feel if, for example, that tumor in your body was 100% benign and posed absolutely zero threat?" That's a powerful question. How would you feel? When we have a health condition going on, even though we don't want it, subconsciously it makes us feel comfortable just sort of knowing it's there. We develop some sort of inverse relationship with a tumor or a bad back. It itself becomes like a crutch. It forces us to have a relationship with us. Just knowing it's there makes us think that health condition is actually us. If it were removed, we would almost feel like we got pushed onto a stage in front of an audience completely naked. We'd feel really exposed. In a weird way, it's comforting to have the little things we have to deal with. The human mind is beyond strange. Understanding the nature and the role of particular health ailment can help us in learning what's actually going on. Maybe it's trying to teach us so that we can lovingly and gently allow it to pass from our bodies. We don't want to kill and destroy these challenges from our lives. Quite the contrary. These things are our teachers, but they are not us. Think of your health condition like a son or daughter who has just graduated from high school, and now they're leaving the house for the first time going off to college. You don't fight them kicking and screaming because you know that it's time for them to leave, and you cry when they're gone. Anytime we have a health condition, we need to develop a relationship with that condition and listen to the lessons they are here to teach us. Maybe because of fear, I subconsciously don't want to give up any of my health conditions I have. It's an interesting way to look at what's going on with your body, that's for sure. There's lots to consider here that's very deeply ingrained in my psyche. I might have to continue doing deep spiritual work in order to get to the bottom of some of these bigger issues. Some conclusions. Fasting is just one way to develop our higher self. Creating emotional and physical mastery can be done using various methods. People have done it by taking vows of silence, obviously fasting, meditation, selling all of their earthly possessions, or just inviting more discipline into their lives. So I intend on doing more and more experiments in the coming months and years that will allow myself to grow and expand. All I know is that on a physical level, fasting 1 day a week is a noble goal if you're healthy enough to do it. For me, it's something that I'm going to continue doing, hopefully for the next few hundred years. I've got a lot to do on this planet Earth, that's for sure. So how about you? Have you ever fasted? I'm curious how long you did and what you learned about yourself during the process. Comment below and share your expert insights. So if you'd like to read this article and click on any of the links or see the images or videos contained within it, all you have to do is go to